Okay, Chris, so let's kind of recap the three-step process. Step one is we clean it up. Step two is we flush it out. Step three, we refill it with new fortified fluid. And when I say fortified fluid, that can of automatic transmission conditioner, you just poured that into the machine. We've already shot that into the system. Now, if you'll go ahead and hit process, we'll start the fluid exchange. All right. So the question is, what is that automatic transmission conditioner? Is it really important? Is it an integral part of the process? Really, the answer is yes and yes. In fact, it's the centerpiece of the entire process. Automatic transmission conditioner has the same ingredients in it that transmission fluid does. It's just beefed up to a greater extent. Maybe we would describe it this way. What do you want automatic transmission fluid to do inside a transmission?
Create pressure, condition seals, stay clean.
Okay, all right. So create pressure, meaning you got to have hydraulics, right? It's got to work. You said seals. You know, got to keep them soft and pliable so there's no leaks. And you mentioned cleaning. In fact, if you've ever been around a transmission guy who takes them apart and has his hands in a lot of transmission fluid, even his cuticles start clearing up, you know, where you get embedded grease in there because of the high detergent package. So again, those are the additives. There's the base stock, and then there's the additive package. And the additives make it do what it does. Think of it this way: how long would a transmission on, the transmission on this Ram, how long would that thing run on crude oil? Yeah, it wouldn't. They refine the crude oil, then they add the additive package to it. I've been doing this a while, and every now and then I'll have somebody say to me, hey, I don't believe in additives. And really, if you think about it, the transmission and the oil wouldn't perform at all if it didn't have additives in there. Does that make sense? So let's kind of unpack what's actually going on. I'm going to take the Chrysler transmission fluid. We'll go in with the oxidizing agent. In other words, we're putting a little mileage on this transmission fluid, and it kind of looks black and nasty like that. So then what I'm going to do is pour half of this out, because back in the old days, we used to do something called a pan drop, where we got 50% of the transmission fluid out, and we left 50% of the transmission fluid in. So I'm going to go back in with new fluid. Now, get ready to be amazed. I got the old junk in there, and I got the new junk in there, and look, it looks the same, right? In other words, we didn't improve it any. So I'm going to go back in with the ATC, and by the way, that was state of the art. That was the best we could do back in those days. So I'm going to put the automatic transmission conditioner in here, and you'll notice this stuff is not red. It's dark colored. And so when we put it in there and give it a little bit of action, notice what happens to the color of the transmission fluid. Do you see how that's beginning to redden back up? And if I use a white surface behind it, see how you can see that? All of that just simply paints a picture of what's going on by neutralizing the acid. Now, earlier you mentioned seals to me. So let's get just a little bit of this automatic transmission conditioner on this rubber stopper, and look what it's doing to that rubber stopper by way of the seals. So not a seal sweller and not a stop leak, but if we can get that seal to do what it was supposed to do, namely seal, then it's going to go a long way to protecting those seals, as well as cleaning up, or not cleaning up, but keeping clean the valve body and the torque converter. So step one is we clean it up. Step two is we flush the old garbage out. Step three, we go in with new fluid and with the conditioner package, and that's what brings with it the lifetime protection plan up to $2,000 coverage. So you see how these things work in concert with each other. The quick clean does the cleanup, the machine does the fluid exchange, and the automatic transmission conditioner puts the additive package back in. Does that sound reasonable? In unpacking this demo just a little bit, I just really wanted to bring your attention to your sulfuric acid. You know, the sulfuric acid in the little plastic bottles starts out clear as water, and over mileage, I sort of say mileage in time, over time, what happens is this moves to a state of darkness, literally blackness, and the longer time goes by, the more the acid sort of loses its will to live and its punch. So typically, I'm going to use an acid bottle for about 18 months. You'll notice this is pretty dark, but it hasn't turned black yet. So I like to keep my acid fairly fresh, and it's just going to make for a nicer demo. Also, I typically use 2 drops in this demo. You know, I poured half of it out, half of it back in. And when I put the automatic transmission conditioner in there, I want to do a lot of shake, rattle, and roll, because as I get that mixed up, that's what brings that clarity and that redness back to it. I also think it's real important that you hold that up to a white surface, because so many of us wear black shirts. You know, you can imagine if I had that up next to my black pants, if I had on a black shirt or a dark blue shirt, you couldn't see it. So I can't overemphasize the importance of using a white surface behind your demo.